Are we?
Now we're live.
Okay. Hi, welcome to the raw, unedited video feed of Sunday Morning Linux Review. You'll get a chance to see all the warts and things as we prepare for our audio broadcast. If you want to see the finished product, and I'm sure you do, you can go to
Oh my fucking god!
smlr.us. Please ignore that outburst that occurred to my immediate left.
That's what we mean by raw and unedited.
Yes.
No, I just made the same mistake starting conversation twice.
I'm using Quassel, and I'm not kidding you. It fires right up. I don't have to do anything.
So does conversation, but then when you try and connect to the wrong freaking
IRC,
IRC 2 times in a row,
mine is just ready to go.
well, mine defaults to a
Different
one
one.
for work.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Is that your work PC
Yeah, because
or laptop?
the other one, which I meant to bring and then left it,
Oh, you didn't bring it?
Mm-hmm.
I forgot. I'm
All right.
sorry.
All right, we've got our episode name. We have our episode music. Looks like it's ready for 9 Inch Nails. I was looking at something. I was put in like classical harmonica. I thought, I'm just going to do that just to see if I can get away with it. And then I decided not to.
Why not?
Well, I can look for something right now before we go
Harmonica unplugged.
go live.
Say the
Harmonica
18th
unplugged.
plus 18th, right?
Yeah,
Today's the
19th.
19th, isn't it?
19th.
All right.
According to my BSD laptop, it's the 19th.
Yeah. According to my Linux laptop.
Oh, another interesting quiz thing for next week. Oh, I better not say it because anybody that listens to this and goes to PenguinCon will hear
Yeah.
it.
Since we are recording, you should not.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. And so it's going to be a multiple choice question. And
Since when does he run?
based on an interview in 2009.
Wow.
And I wouldn't see any reason for him to change
No.
necessarily. So I know. That's why I found all these really interesting little tidbits, and I thought, I'm not going to do
I
it.
would have expected.
Exactly. And that's one of my choices. I have 4 choices. So yeah, that's just one of those interesting little questions. All right. So how we doing in our setup?
I'm posting us going live right now.
Fantastic.
We shall be ready in just a minute.
Oh, hey.
The whole question sucks.
Because it's the dinosaur going back down to the bird. In case you don't recognize the silhouette, that is the donut.
That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Electronic harmonica.
It was.
That would be a good name for a Linux kernel. Electronic harmonica.
They could make that band, electronic harmonica.
There.
Sure.
And then they play punk. And I'm talking traditional punk.
Yeah.
A guitarist, a bassist, and a drums. That's it. And they just bang on.
Okay. Now you guys can reshare my post. That's it. We're going live.
Okay. That's one I found.
Let's go with that.
All right. That's called Diadema.
Oh, no.
My
Stop.
ca-
No. English. Can't use it. Gotta find something with an English title.
How about this one?
Tony can pronounce.
I was gonna say
Did you see what distro's in Distro Watch?
No.
Just guess.
Makalulu.
Hendica Punk. Hey, how about that one? Let's
What?
try this one.
that.
Yeah.
What's it called?
It's called Hendica Punk. Prince Ringard. I don't think it's English.
Not singing in English, Mary.
We love all languages, but we
No. The title is in English, though, so
I know.
use it, because that's what Tony has to say. He doesn't have, the song doesn't have to be in English. Do you understand what I'm saying?
yeah. Traffic Quant de Spleen. He also had that one.
No. We'll go with the one with the title in English.
Okay. Yeah. Hendica Punk. Hendica Punk.
Indica.
Punk.
Indica Punk.
There you go.
Prince Ringard.
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 Ringard. Okay, we got it.
Did somebody download it?
Yeah, we will.
I will.
We'll wing it. All right, are we ready to go
Yeah,
live?
I'll do it when you're. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm ready. Are you guys ready
I'm ready.
ready.
For what?
for the show?
Question is for what?
Jesus. Am I supposed to be ready for the show?
Yeah.
I don't even have my stuff
And
open.
Yeah, I know. Get that kernel up there.
Let's see.
What the hell?
Let's see. First, kernel.org. Okay, then distro launch. And then update it for the last 7 days.
Okay. Nature abhors a vacuum, so I'm gonna fill it with mindless chatter.
We're not
Um,
on yet.
hmm?
We're not on yet.
Well, I know.
Oh, I watched like YouTube last week. That show. I'm like, you can't hardly hear me on the YouTube broadcast at all.
Then talking to the mic.
I was like this, and
Were
you
ya?
still could not hardly hear me.
But you have to kind of go like.
All right.
I think, Matt, what you have to do is kind of have your head always swiveled this part, and then have the mic kind of.
Well,
Because if you're talking on the side of the mic versus the end of the mic, I think that makes a difference.
I mean, everything I said was quiet.
oh, okay.
Well, in case
So-
you're gonna fix that this episode.
No, I mean, it's
let's
not
do an audio
important.
test one more time.
It's,
All right.
it's not
test,
really
Yeah, go ahead.
test,
Matt.
test,
Test 1 2. Test 1 2 3.
All right,
test.
I have you turned up higher than both of us right now.
Okay,
So as long as you talk into the mic how we test,
Mm-hmm. You're
then
good.
you're good.
all right, we'll see.
All right.
But it's
I'm
not
gonna
that
keep-
big a deal because we only have like I think 76 downloads on the YouTube last week, and compared to 1,000 some on the.
Right, and the software editing that I do, the filtering, brings you up if you are.
Yeah,
low.
I'm sure it does.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so it's
I
not
think
a big
the audio sounds great, and really that's our product,
I was
not
just
the
making an
video.
observation.
Right.
Because as we said, this is the raw, unedited feed. You get what you get.
You get all the swearing
All
by
the
Tony. He's got such a foul mouth. It's incredible.
Yeah, the right side of my head is just singed every week. Oh,
See,
and I'm
and-
dyslexic,
See,
though.
and you YouTube people, you're the ones who get this part of the show. Those
That's right.
listeners of the audio only version
Get the polished.
don't get this part of
You
the
get the
show.
polished version. It is polished, isn't it, Tony?
Well, it's
right, we better get started.
somewhat
Somewhat.
edited.
It has some sort of wax on it.
All right. Well, good.
Some sort of wax. On it. That's a good one.
That opens up a whole avenue that we will not go down. All right, are we about ready?
Yes,
Cool.
we're going back to.
Oh,
the
I'll
end
tell
of
you what
the-
we're going back to because you know I do all my research.
I'm going to the bottom of the page,
Oh my God, I haven't even opened my thing yet.
which is Bella OS.
We recorded last on the 5th, so Alex.
You've left off Quart, Salient OS, and Semplus. So, FYI,
I left.
right here, we didn't do this.
That was on the 6th. You mean that's where we're starting?
That's where we're starting. Yes.
We didn't talk about LXLE, did we? That was on the 5th.
Oh, you know, I think you're right. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
You're right. Record on the 4th. I don't have anything on it. Okay.
Oh, we did. Yeah, you're right. It was the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So LXLE.
Okay. For some reason I thought we had done that. My
Okay.
mistake.
No
Okay.
problem. All right. Are we?
I think we're ready.
All right.
Finally.
Oh yeah, the other one was on how Forge.mil.
All right.
Forge.mil.
I don't know who that is.
Here's the
It's-
intro.
The Sunday Morning Linux Review, starring Mary Talmadge, Tony Venus, and Matt Enders as the Beaver.
And this is Tony Bemis.
Matt Enders.
And Mary Tomich,
And this is episode 149.
T minus 1 week.
Okay,
T minus 1 week to PandaCon.
I got it.
Okay.
Penguicon, yeah.
Yep.
I have my presentation written and it's already posted online.
Yeah, I saw that. I've got after I get off they're already uploaded to my web server, two of my presentations with all of the supporting documents, because to do my presentations, you'll need some faked up data files that I've created to follow along, to be able to do the exercises
Oh,
the way
Okay.
the way they're written.
Yeah.
So both my bath presentations are uploaded to the server. They're just not in the web directory yet. I'm just gonna move them to the web
were there
directory.
instructions provided? I didn't open any of those emails
What emails?
about how to handle your your presentations.
Oh yeah,
ahead
about
of-
they were. It was all the instructions were there, because you've got to give them your presentation before you go, and they were all there about how you could upload your presentation to their site and get it all set and ready. And
No.
everything.
No. You email two people.
Thanks, Tony.
But-
any chance to be a troll?
But you do have
You
to
had
have
me
it.
worried. I think
You do
I
have to
was-
send it to them before Wednesday to get it on the site. And if you want to have that discount for the for being a presenter,
I already got my discount.
Oh really? I didn't know you had to send it anything.
yeah, you have to send it to them ahead of time. There's an email that said that
I didn't.
I
like that-
already
that
got my
email.
discount.
because you had 3 hours. Yeah, we both have 3 hours
Panelists
of.
and whatever. I don't know.
I-
I got they
well,
well,
I
discount.
have
they said
5
3 hours. Yeah,
hours.
Matt has a lot. So we both hit the 3 hour mark of presentation. So
And
you get
panelists.
half off.
Oh, do you get that at the door?
No, it was
I think so.
given to my PayPal.
Well, I'm sure yours was, because you did the responsible thing and bought in advance. I still have not registered.
Yeah, I haven't registered.
All
And
right.
because you can't register now after April 1st,
No.
you just have to wait and get it at the door.
Just get there
Right.
early so you're not, in
I'm
line.
going to be there at like 8 a.m.
On Friday.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go early too.
because I've taken the whole Thursday and Friday off.
Yeah, me too.
I
I am.
I took the day before off so I could get turned around to a daytime schedule.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Good plan.
I was gonna take the whole day off, but we have a big meeting at work, so I
Friday
can't miss
morning?
that one. Yeah,
Oh, that's good. So you're good there.
We could take the afternoon off.
yeah. So I'm taking
Oh.
half day.
Yeah, me too.
So I'll probably get there
Me too.
about 1 or 2, the earliest.
I work for a capital management firm, Tomar Capital Management.
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
I'm
the-
I
familiar
forgot
with
about
Tomar
that.
Capital Management.
I'm the portfolio strategist, chief trader,
I thought you would be the CEO.
day trader.
You're not the CEO.
Or CFO.
No. See, here's the thing: you never want to do it that way because it then makes your company look small. When I had a
Ah,
little printing company,
That's a great idea, Mary. I
Yeah.
never thought of that.
When I had a
I
pr-
always
I
listed
owned a-
myself as owner on my business.
I owned a
card.
swag printing company. You print print
Swag.
yeah, you print stuff on swag. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
pens and stuff. And I always had myself as a sales rep.
Really?
Mhm.
That's a great idea, Mary.
Mhm.
I never. I
Because-
probably will never own another business now, but
Yeah,
I never thought of that
yeah,
back when I did.
Yeah, and then I made sure that it was, I did all the incorporation, all that kind of stuff. I think
Yeah.
it was an S corp.
And
that's
I've only ever been a
right.
sole proprietor.
Yeah. Well, but the advantage of an S corp, I think, is that as far as liability goes, it kind of places the liability outside of your personal stuff, depending on what you're doing.
That
'Cause I
really
also had another
depends.
business where it was
You
a sole
can get-
proprietorship.
You can get that. It'll give you some of that liability
Mhm.
protection to separate like if your business gets sued, separate your personal finances,
Mm-hmm.
but not as much as you would think, like a real corporation has.
Yeah, no, but there is some, and so that's
Yeah.
what we did. So yeah, so it looked bigger than it really was. So, not that I was trying to mislead anybody,
Yeah.
because we did we did quality work,
Right.
but we
You farmed
I
it all
did-
out.
yeah, no, I had a machine. I had a pad printer machine in my basement.
A what?
A pad printer machine. It's basically you ink it, and then you've got the little piece you're going to imprint not in a mold, but it's in like a little thing that holds it in place, and then you lower the
Okay, so this
the
was a
print.
really
This
low
is-
quantity. Like I couldn't order
oh yeah, you couldn't.
10,000 things from you.
No, but I did have somebody upstream who would handle huge orders. So I would do the things that you wanted, like 300 or 400. I could do that kind of stuff. So anyway, but I guess we got off track a little bit. But oh yeah, we're talking about PenguinCon. So anyway, yeah. So next week we'll be webcasting, podcasting
So
from.
if you have all that equipment, where's our SMLR pens?
She doesn't say she has it now.
We're talking 20 years ago.
Oh,
I don't know what happened to it. I ended up quitting that.
like when I used to build decks in New Jersey. I don't have any of that equipment either. Well, mostly because the IRS took it. But that's another story.
Oh yeah, that'll be a good one. All right, so
All right.
well, what kind of stuff did you do? Open source or whatever? Tony?
Well, at home, I broke my internet and put it back together. I
Cool.
moved everything from in my office to the other end.
Oh yeah,
Put
you
a
showed us that
rack in
server
and-
rack.
Yeah.
I mean, there are
Where'd
just
you
so
get
many
that rat?
blinking
Did you guys
lights.
decom a data center?
No, I found it on the side of the street.
Really?
Yeah, it was nice.
You know, people drive
But-
through my neighborhood looking for stuff. I can just picture Tony in his van. Is that how you did it?
Oh yeah, of course. It actually
Tony, I'm
no,
gonna
I
let you
did it
know
in my
when-
car. It fit in my car.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it comes in pieces.
Oh, okay.
You know, so it was just like laying there. I was able to fix it.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
cool.
So I'm inheriting Tony's old rack.
That's right. It's a little bit shorter and it's lightweight aluminum.
Right, but at work, in one of our data centers at work, we've got two rows of server racks that are like the one he has here, and which is just a taller version of basically the one I'm getting. And I'm hoping to get another smaller one and use it the way we use it there, where they pair them up so that they can put full size servers in.
Yeah. Yeah, at work we call that a 4-poster.
Okay.
There you go.
Because we want the openness to have just the posts, but we have like Cisco Nexus equipment are the full length server.
Oh, okay.
length.
Yeah.
So we have to have the back support also. So yeah.
Wow.
I don't. And then I was pulling cable in my house over the last couple weeks. Pulled 16 drops into my office, and 8 of them are live now
So you did it through the walls, like
no.
Matt's gonna be helping
No.
me with.
through the ceiling or through the rafters
Yeah.
here.
Right. It's all
See all
right
that
there.
yellow?
Oh
running around
yeah,
up there?
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. There's a lot of wiring.
Yeah. And then I
Pretty good.
plan by the time I'm done, I'll probably have at least 40 drops in my house.
Well, yeah, because with no, like you've got no ceiling down here in the basement.
Yeah, so it's really easy.
The joists are all exposed, so it'll be really easy also to wire each room.
Yeah, to go up to the room, and although the hard part is going to be getting over to my family room because it's a slab going that way,
Oh, yeah.
and I need to get to the other end of it. So I'm wondering if I'm going to have to go up into the attic and across and then down.
Oh. Yeah, I bet you might have to.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting.
Hmm.
I think I'm going to come up in the wall in my closet.
Yeah, you'd have to
so
do
I
it.
can cut a hole in my closet. Nobody's going to see it.
Well, you'll have to do it on a
I'll repair it.
non-bearing wall too.
Yeah.
Because anywhere it's a bearing wall, you'll have a double joist like you've got right here,
Oh yeah.
and there's no way to get to the bottom sole plate inside the wall.
Right. Yeah, that's my plan.
This is all beyond me.
Yeah, so I'll pull it up there, and then while I'm pulling the long runs, I'm going to try to get some coax and run coax at the same time.
Oh yeah, so you can put TV everywhere.
Yeah, so if I have Comcast or some kind of cable TV, down the road, then I'll have that in place.
You
already.
know, do you have a Chromecast?
I do. I love it.
If you get Sling TV,
Hmm.
which is is only on your phone.
Yeah.
If they have the Disney Channel and everything,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's $20 a month,
Wow.
and then you can just
Do they
shoot
have
it-
ESPN?
Yes. And so you can then shoot it to the Chromecast.
Nice.
And I have that.
Chromecast has really expanded.
I haven't gotten the
tell ya.
Chromecast yet, but I have that service.
You've got to. Yeah, it's
When are
pretty
you
cool.
gonna get it?
When I
35 bucks.
when I know
We're
when I
gonna
do
start a
that, yeah.
GoFundMe page to help
Right.
Matt get a Chromecast.
I could buy it today. It's just the fact that I haven't.
All right.
But yeah.
You busy
Yeah.
working?
Well, I bought what I did buy though was because Mary traded me a TV for some of my labor, which I have yet to pay. So hopefully
Yeah.
I
Well,
won't-
we'll be talking about that.
hopefully I won't die before then. But, but if I do die, she gets TV
I'm putting
back.
a lien on that TV.
I did go and get a 15-foot VGA cable so I can hook it up to my Chromebook, and I use it to watch Netflix.
Oh, good.
All right.
That works
you can,
pretty well.
You can cast Netflix too.
I know.
Yeah, I Chromecast Netflix,
Although
Matt.
you know what the problem, you might have a problem with wireless, don't you? Or is your wireless router in your room? With you?
No.
Yeah, then because you have to connect, the Chromecast has to connect
Well,
wireless.
but his computer does now already, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You're using so.
Okay,
it'll
I
be
didn't
the
know
same
how
signal
strong it would be. If it's
Well,
a
I'm
far- if it's a
streaming
far
Netflix,
distance.
so
without
Okay.
any kind of buffering.
Well, I mean, your laptop antenna might be bigger than the Chromecast antenna.
Oh,
Now, does it do its own wirelessly locally somehow? I see, I haven't
thought
even
it
read
comes
about
through
it.
There's a
I thought it comes through your phone.
Or
No, no, you
You start you
there's
connect it
there's
to
a
your
phone on your there's an app on your phone,
Mm-hmm.
and when you first turn it on, the initial setup,
It
it's broadcasting
authenticates.
its own little thing, and and the phone goes and finds it and then configures it to connect to your wireless. Like you tell it. Which
I have
one
a
to connect to
Chromecast
and
on each
everything.
floor of my house. So come on, Matt. If I can do that, you can.
I've just got to do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So
It wasn't there rumors about them putting out an audio only version. I would use that too.
audio only.
Yeah,
I'm not. I'm
I
missing.
thought I saw. Yeah, well, you plug it into a stereo instead of a TV.
Oh! I
And
got
then
you.
you
I
can-
got you.
Wait a minute. What stereo has an HDMI connection?
Mine does.
Exactly. So, an audio only version would not be HDMI. It would be either digital or RCA.
Your stereo has an HDMI connection?
Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah,
it's
there are
got
some because
it's a media center and it's got all kinds of
it
connections.
does the video routing too.
I used to run everything through it. Now I run nothing through it. It just sits on my. And I'm thinking, I don't know why I got this darn thing.
You know, if you need some cable, I'll trade you some cable and faceplates for a stereo.
It's an Onkyo. It's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a big. Yeah,
Actually, the one I have right now is an Onkyo. It's just a
I've
old
always liked
version.
Onkyo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
And now we've gotten way off track.
oh my God.
So Mary, what did you do this last couple weeks?
I preparing for PenguinCon. I found my watch that I had lost for 8 months. This is my Shinola watch that I love, and it was lost. It was in the black hole known as my convertible. I lose everything in that
Again?
thing.
That's
Yeah,
where you lost your tablet.
I know. There are so many places where things just disappear and they're never to be found, or at least for a long time. It gets past that event horizon and then it's gone. No, but it was stuck between the seat rail and the console. And when I looked for it last year, I kind of looked in the middle under the seat and not on the side past the rail. And there it was. So I was pretty happy. But yeah, so just, get ready to take my Python final exam, which is due, I think, next week. So I better get cracking on that.
All right.
So
Yeah. Good luck.
I'm ready to get a job now as a Python programmer. That's a joke. All right.
And Matt, did you already go over?
Yeah, no, I haven't done it.
Okay.
You say that
No,
again?
really, I've worked 3 days in the last 2 weeks. I haven't done anything.
Oh,
Pen-
yeah.
Tweaking my Penguin. I had my presentations were mostly written before I took this, because I took this off a while ago to make sure that I would have these presentations ready in time. And the 2 bash presentations, the one was completely finished, and the other was just, I have a tech reviewer guy. He also taught me a lot about bash.
Is it Eric?
It is.
Excellent.
And so I sent it to him.
Eric, who you want to interview?
I sent the second one to him to tweak up and tell me what parts of it I really fucked up. Or, sorry, messed up. Sorry, Tony. And
It will not be removed. Just kidding. All right, go ahead.
And he didn't get back to me with that until like Tuesday. So I spent a couple of days making the corrections that he said I should make.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Did I tell you that in my Python course we covered regular expressions a little bit?
No.
Yeah.
But I figured you would. Python has a regular expression engine. So.
Yeah, yep, it's a module and you load it. And I was very impressed with how much it allows you to reduce your code as long as you understand how to incorporate regular expressions in there. But and again, the Python course I took was more for informatics, which is pulling data
Exactly,
out of
where you got to parse data.
Yes.
Regular expressions are extremely helpful with that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to your.
I use grep with regular expressions every day at work when I'm trying to parse out most of the time an Apache access log. But
yeah. So anyway, I thought of you, and I watched that presentation and I thought, man, it is really. I mean, you have to kind of understand
Now
it.
there,
Do you have a cheat sheet, Matt?
I
A little
I
sheet that.
don't, but I could. But
Okay.
now you got to remember each thing uses its own engine. I mean,
Mhm,
granted, there is the PCRE engine out there, which a lot of things else you use,
mhm.
but Python's regular expression engine may be different than the POSIX regular expression engine
Oh.
that grep uses, which is what I'm.
So the impact then, as long as whatever it
I
is
mean,
you're
there'll
doing
be
stays within Python, it doesn't matter. It doesn't
right,
need to.
right.
Okay.
There will be some similarities just because
Mhm.
the, the the POSIX one was first, so whatever come from that comes
Oh, derived from it
right.
probably. Mhm.
So usually they'll have stuff that's not in that engine, so you'll be able to do more basically with yours. Like the PCRE is
Mhm.
more versatile than the,
Okay.
but then it's also got some syntax changes. So.
Okay. Well, regardless, I was impressed with how it enabled me to reduce the amount of code that
Right,
I needed.
but with regex too, one thing to keep in mind is once you understand the syntax and how the regular expressions works and it's going to search until it finds a match, and the difference between greedy and lazy and
Oh yeah, greedy and lazy. Yep, he
right.
talked about that too.
So
It was really fascinating. It was kind of frightening to use the word fascinating and regex in the same sentence.
it is. It's
But just how
regex has been around
it's
longer than most
kind
computers.
of, I mean, it has its own elegance in kind of an odd way because the power in such a simple set of
Yeah.
characters
Since
that look kind of, they look kind of gobbledygook if you don't know what they're about.
Sure. And I want to say since like 1952, somewhere in the early 50s, Dr. Klein,
Mhm.
who was a mathematician, because the original regular expressions were written for mathematics.
Okay.
Because what regular expressions allow you to do is to look
I
at
think
language.
you're giving your presentation, aren't you?
No, is to look at language mathematically
Uh-huh.
and work with
I love math.
all the characters that are available to you in a mathematical sort of way for sorting and searching.
Yeah. Not to get off track, but Nova had a
Too late.
Yeah, Nova, the PBS show Nova had a really good program on math and how it just describes it describes everything in the universe. And I think back to when I was in college and I took calculus and I needed a tutor to get a C. And even though
Math
that
is
happened,
hard.
it
According to
is.
Barbie anyway.
I still love it though. I still just conceptually, I just think it's a wonderful thing. So there you have it. All right,
Did you say according to Barbie?
Yes. Oh, did you never heard about that huge controversy?
Barbie.
No.
This talking Barbie said math is hard.
Really?
You
Is
can
that the-
understand
is
why
that-
it was controversial.
Oh my God, is that USB Barbie?
I don't
Is that the
know.
one?
I don't remember. It was
Man,
a
I
while
tell you,
ago.
Mattel, what a creepy
If
company.
you Google math is hard Barbie, I'm sure
Yeah.
you'll find it. It was
Oh my God,
huge.
Wow.
I hate that company now. Just based on you telling me that, even though I haven't researched it, but I think I remember something about that.
Yeah, it was huge. It was.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't just techie huge. It was the whole culture huge.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Did you hear about that? There's a one's called Barbie Talk now or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's the one.
And is that it? Because it's just released.
It'll
No,
go
no,
out
no.
to Mattel servers
Yeah.
and we'll get stuff. Can you imagine
No,
that
this was
getting
different.
hacked?
It was
This was
talking-
earlier.
This was
Okay.
earlier, much earlier. It was talking Barbie. It just had
Yep.
some phrases that were
Okay.
downloaded.
But
Was
the one Mary and I are talking about, it goes out to the Mattel.
servers
servers.
and pulls stuff down and talks to the little girl. I
and
just
it
think
records
it's
all the
so
conversations.
creepy.
It does. It
that's-
records
Don't
them
ever
all,
get that for your kid.
creates a text version of it, and then you can have it emailed to the parents.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
that is
It's-
really
Let's
creepy.
put
I'm
another
not
device
getting
that's going to record everything in my freaking house.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, anyway, all right, we're gonna put it in reverse and go back down there. I guess we kind of caught up, and then some, and I guess we're probably gonna be ready to.
Yep. Going on to
Matt, what's happening with the Colonel?
Going on to what?
the Colonel News.
The Colonel.
Really?
It
Tell
just
us,
said
Matt.
that, and then we have to say it again for you.
That's all right. Matt, tell us. Share
I'm not
the
being
big
a
news.
troll at all.
Yeah, share the big news, Matt.
All right. The main line is 4.0.
Woo!
It was released.
Yeah.
So we have a new Linux kernel, and it's a doozy. So
Did
the
you
main
know-
line is 4.0. No, go ahead.
I was just going to mention that I was reading that Fedora, I think the alpha release for Fedora 22 already has the 4.0 kernel in it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure because it's
Yeah,
still
they're
in
very-
production,
Yeah,
and they're right on the edge. So.
yeah. So
And then our newest stable kernel, which 4.0 is a stable kernel, but it's not in the stable branch yet. So it's going to be 3.19.1.5, and it was released on 4.19. And then we have long-term kernel 3.18.11, released on 4.4. 3.14.39, released on 4.19. 3.12.40, released on 4.9. 3.10.75, released on 4.19. 3.4.107, released on 4.14. And that is all.
boy, those sound so old.
All right, thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
So
You have a
it's
kernel
exciting
quote for
that-
us?
No.
Oh, not this week. Okay.
It's exciting that that we could be looking forward to no more reboots because of kernel
Yes,
updates.
because it's now in the kernel. So I have,
Oh yeah, I kind of hated that. It just put a Windows
but
taste
wait
in
a
my
minute.
mouth. You know?
I have a question.
A question or a statement?
A question.
Okay.
What is your main computing environment?
For me,
Yes.
my laptop.
Same with me. I don't even have a desktop.
Oh, mine is my desktop.
Is it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Well,
So maybe it's the out.
workstation.
Maybe Mary represents the outlier crowd.
I like that.
But I really believe that the vast majority of people's computing today is done on some type of a portable device, like a laptop or a phone. But if you're talking an actual computer, I'd say a laptop. And I turn mine off all the time.
I just close the
It-
lid on mine. It goes into suspend mode or whatever. it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Even when you're not going to be on it for a couple of days?
Yeah. Usually mine will last about that long.
Really?
With
I'm always
my
afraid of
battery.
heat anyway. That's why I don't do that.
Oh,
Yeah, I
as
did
long
that
as you-
once,
as
and
long
I
as you make
remember
sure
my
it shuts
laptop was
down,
warm.
then
No,
it won't. It doesn't.
mine shut down. I mean, I have to start it back up. It goes into, it doesn't
that power
hibernate.
save mode.
It doesn't go into hibernate, so it still has to keep power flowing to the RAM.
Yeah, but your RAM doesn't.
I don't know. When I
Create
pull
much
it out,
heat.
when I pull it out of the bag after only a couple of hours, sometimes it is hot.
Oh, well, usually it doesn't go into suspend right then or something because the processor is still running. So
Hmm.
that's when,
Hibernate.
yeah,
No, hibernate's different. Hibernate means it writes everything that's in RAM to the disk,
Mhm.
and then
And then
you
kind
actually
of
start it back
Quasi
up.
shuts off.
Yeah, no, it totally shuts off, and then when you start it back up, it looks for that hibernation file and sees it and
Oh,
reloads
okay,
that
and
into
then-
RAM.
Okay.
anyway.
I was just trying to contribute to the conversation. I'll throw hibernate out there. I haven't heard it mentioned yet. See if it sticks. All right.
Close.
All right.
Well, that was a scintillating kernel segment, Matt.
All right.
Tony, what's going on with the Linux distributions this week?
And for the distros this week, we're going back to April 5th, 2015. And we're starting off with LXLE 14.04.2 and 12.04.5. So LXLE is a lightweight desktop for 64-bit and 32 branches.
And I bet it's based on Ubuntu.
I believe you're right.
Okay.
All right. On the 5th, we have Makalulu 8 Unity. I said Maka. I don't know.
Yeah, you're still adding the second A.
Maka.
Well, so it's MAKUL.
Kulu. Yeah.
Mak-
So Maku. So that's how
exactly.
it goes.
Yeah, Maku.
That's it. That's not what you
Maku.
said,
Yeah.
but that's how you
Okay,
said it.
that's not. Because I always made MAKULU.
Oh yeah,
That's
you
what
threw that
how I
extra.
thought
Yeah.
about it. Not MAKL or KULU.
Yeah.
You add the extra A.
Or even if you put the K with the MA, Mac Ulu.
Makulu.
Yeah, Makulu.
Makulu.
See, there
Oh
you
my
go.
God, it's starting to roll off his tongue.
Yeah, now he's
Absolutely.
getting.
See if I
We have
remember
maybe
next
seen
time.
the last Makalulu.
Well, there goes that comedy segment.
Oh, anyway, so
Alright.
this time it's so version 8 Unity. So it's they're based on the 14.04 with the Unity is it the Unity desktop? It is
Oh,
customized Unity.
by the way, too, just a little trivia on Makulu. They do have a little pronunciation thing on the website, and the way they have it is Ma, as we just said, M-A, and then cool, and then Lu. See, so C-O-O-L, and then L-O-O, Makulu.
All right.
I think they put it up there for you, Tony. And it means big chief in the Zulu language. So
Cool.
you could just call it Big
now,
Chief
now
Linux
big is
if you
big
like.
chief as in that like the head chief, or
Mhm.
big chief is in like me chief.
Buddha belly. I believe it means the big chief, the head chief. So anyway,
All right.
I think I'm gonna go with it means the big chief.
all right.
All right. And going on, we have Quart Linux 4.2, and that's also lightweight with OpenBox, and there's no system D in it.
Yeah, and actually, Quart. I think they may mention it
So
there.
no gnome.
No,
Right?
but they're based on. Well,
Yeah. So it has OpenBox as a desktop.
yeah, they're based on Crux.
Yeah.
Remember Crux?
Oh
Based
yeah.
on Crux Linux. And something really interesting about the guy that maintains that distro. His name is David Cortarello. Hope I pronounced that correctly. But he works at Accenture, which is a U.S. consulting firm, and he's a programmer and sysadmin there. And he's kind of a Renaissance guy because he plays the piano. He's been doing that since he was 7. And yeah, and by the way, too, Matt, you'll be interested to know this, and this is going to kind of eventually segue into my review for this episode. But all of his public projects are open source, which is no surprise, and he tends to free his projects or to release his projects under the BSD license.
Very good of him.
So anyway, I thought that was interesting. I wanted to mention that when we talked about it.
All
So,
right.
back to you, Tony.
Cool. All right. Next up on the 8th, we have Salient OS 14.04.2, and it's just an update of their core packages.
Yeah, and wow, I lost them. Where did they go? But anyway, they've got, and they may have mentioned it, but they've got their new Salient OS control center. They ended up replacing the XFCE version that they had previously used. So they've kind of customized it now and can call it their own. And they also added an official repository for that distro. So I mean, they're really starting to bring in some customization from their perspective, from that distro's perspective.
Cool. All right, on the 9th, we have Simplice Linux 7, and they're lightweight based on Debian, and they have a desktop, a GTK-based desktop called Vera. Have you heard of that before?
I did when
No.
I went out to their site.
Well, then the answer would be no. You've never heard of it before then.
Before then, but you mentioned that they're based, or at least DistroWatch mentions they're based on Debian. They are based on like the latest build of SID, which at the moment of that release was I think 2015-0405, which was the April 5th release.
Yeah, I used to run Seduction, which
Yeah,
is
really.
it's based on
Recent.
SID. So
Yeah, and they're running the 3.19 kernel, which may have been mentioned there. They've got. Oh,
Did you see their code name? Comfortably Numb.
yeah, I saw that. I saw that. I thought that was kind of funny. But anyway, they've got. There's one little issue if you're going to use VirtualBox with Simplice. Apparently, you can only take one screenshot when running in VirtualBox. So a little odd. They said that shooting screenshots in real machines should work as expected, but if you're doing it inside VirtualBox, There's some kind of little bug that prevents
How are they
that.
taking the screenshot?
You know, they didn't go into detail, but I just made a little note of it
I
when
mean,
I
are
saw
they
that.
using the built-in functionality of print screen where it then puts it on your Linux clipboard or what?
I don't know, Matt. That's really I can't answer that. I just was making a note of one of their issues that they said. So I'm not. I
Because
didn't
I don't
have time to
understand.
really dig
I don't
into it.
understand how if I'm using like something like K Snapshot,
Mhm.
how the
I think
fact
if
that
it's
I'm
in
on a
the
virtual machine would matter.
well, apparently it does.
I doubt that. I have a hard time with that.
Okay, I could tell.
It's got to be. It's
Uh-huh.
got to be with just the print screen function by pushing the button on your
Mhm.
keyboard, which then puts it on your clipboard.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's what they had said, and I was just don't shoot, don't harangue the messenger.
All right, all right.
Don't troll the messenger. The final thing about it, this particular release of Semplus also, they replaced Chromium with Iceweasel, and
Alright.
they plan to ship vanilla Mozilla branded Firefox in the future.
All right. All right. So on the 9th, we have Bella OS 2.2, and they're based on Ubuntu LTS. I don't remember seeing this one before.
You're right, it's first time.
First time.
First time
Alright.
on here. I actually I had considered doing a review of this and then decided against it based on another distro that kind of caught my eye. But I did go out to the forum for this just to kind of see what the reaction was for people that were installing it. Paying no attention to the little dog behind the curtain.
Right.
But anyway, the most of the comments from people who had installed it were favorable. I think Bella OS has the same issue that a lot of distros that are derived from Ubuntu do, is that the branding inside still shows Ubuntu. I kind of, if you're going to really use it, you get a lot of stuff ready made for you. The least you can do is go in and get those and replace them.
Yeah, you would think. Huh?
But
Lazy bastard.
but anyway, a lot of most of the comments were pretty positive about how nice it was. So there you have it.
Nice. All right. Next up we have is Linux Mint 2 LMDE. Bum bum bum. You know what? You remember what the LMDE version is?
Linux Mint Debian.
Yeah. So it's the Debian. They had.
I thought this
all
thing
what I
died.
could. Yeah. All I could. Yeah. They stopped working on it all together, and then they brought it back. So
I wonder
this
if that
has-
means something.
You
Should
know-
we read something into that?
It got so far out of date. It was just horrible. Horrible.
Well, isn't Jesse ready to be released soon, or didn't it just get released? Debbie and
Yeah.
Jesse.
Yeah. It's
So I'm
pretty
thinking they're
close.
probably bringing it back so they can update it.
I don't remember seeing it on DistroWatch, so I don't think they've had a release yet.
Yeah. So maybe that's why they're getting ready.
At least not as of the 10th.
Okay.
All right. Next up we have is Slackout 6.0.3 Open Box, and they're the live Open Box version. Yeah. So UEFI
Mm-hmm.
ships with Midori and everywhere.
Yeah, and this particular release, they've included, based on some information I gleaned from their site, they've included several open box configuration tools, and they also have the Salix because it's based. I think part of it comes from that. Part of Slackle does is based on Salix. Their codec installer is available in the menus for easy installation of restricted codecs. So it doesn't come with it, but if you want to install those codecs, you've got an easy way to do it.
All right.
Also, since they're based on the oldest Linux distribution, Slackware,
Yes.
they have no system D either.
No, I guess they
Oh.
wouldn't have System D.
All right. All right. On the 11th we have Handy Linux 1.9, and they are a beginner friendly distro.
Oh, kind of like Slackware?
Yeah.
No, not like
That's what I
Slackware.
thought when I was installing it. My, this is beginner friendly.
Uh,
So friendly, I did buy a T-shirt. Although I'm going to get rid of that Slackware. Did I get rid of that already?
What?
I'm giving
don't
it
know.
away.
How would
I
we
wore it
know
once.
if you got rid of your Slackware t-shirt?
If you give it
I
to
don't
me,
know.
I'll
I
wear it
was.
at PenguinCon.
I must have been talking to myself.
Oh, I will pay money to watch you
I'm
wear
just
Mary's
joking.
t-shirt.
No, I'm not gonna wear
Hey, I'll wash
it.
it. It's been washed. It's a nice dusty teal. It says Slackware on it. You know. I mean, I can't really in good faith. Well, I mean, I could wear it. It's
I'd
People
pin
would
it
think
to the
I'm-
front of my shirt. How about that?
There you go.
Okay.
All right.
That's about the only way you're gonna get in
All
it.
right.
Right.
I still have Handy Linux actually in a virtual machine. Remember, I reviewed that a few weeks ago, a few episodes ago. Handy Linux.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. All
All
right.
right. Next up, we have is Elementary OS 0.3.
Did we talk about Handy Linux other than Mary's offhand mention?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Slackout.
No, he moved on to Handy
Oh,
Linux.
I missed that whole transition
It was obvious.
Remember the
because we were talking about
beginner friendly.
Slackware.
No, yeah, we were beginner friendly.
That
You
was
said
a beginner
Slackware.
friendly.
No.
You were so focused on your Slackware jokes that.
Never mind.
All right.
Okay.
Just call me Emily Lutella.
You have to be over 40 to get that one.
Yeah.
All
Do
right.
you get it, Tony?
No, I don't.
Told you.
So it works. Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
No, she lived on my street growing up in
Really?
Detroit. Yes.
Lily
Gilda
Tomlin?
Radner. No, it's Gilda Radner. Oh, I feel a $5 bet coming
No,
on.
that's what I meant. She used to do this Lily Tomlin impersonation.
Yeah, and
Very
Lily
good.
Tomlin's from Detroit too.
Is she really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
All right,
Exciting.
you're showing a little Detroit love. All right, Tony,
All right.
guide us on, will you?
Elementary OS 0.3 is Freya. Freya. Freya.
Freya.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was what, elementary?
Yeah. That's elementary.
Yeah,
What's it based on?
I don't remember. I don't see it on here real quick. But they have a new firewall.
Actually, they out at their website, they have kind of sort of a pay to play model. So if you want to download it, you got to kind of click through this donate button. And I think you can
A
ultimately
bunch of
download
the guys
it
at work
without paying.
use this. I've
Elementary?
never.
Well, that's interesting because on their site they were kind of touting the fact that they had been downloaded over 3 million times.
Yeah.
And they also said that they're in one of the top 10 most popular open source operating systems, and had over 60% of downloads come from non-free OSs. I think the stats that you get out on SourceForge, it will say, whatever the visiting machine's OS is, they track all of that. And so there was this graph there, this kind of pie graph or pie chart or whatever they call it, that kind of showed that. And Windows was the majority OS that downloaded elementary OS.
Really?
Probably because Windows and elementary, they kind of go together. I'm just kidding, it's a joke. But anyway,
It's based on Ubuntu with GNOME as a desktop.
no?
GNOME.
Okay.
Yeah. Although they have, I'm looking at a screenshot. It looks like a custom launcher, some kind of launcher at the bottom instead of the traditional menus.
Yeah, because it's got that. It wants to look like OS 10 kind of thing going on.
Oh,
Right.
You guys, I apologize. I need to go back and mention something about Slackout. One important change in this release, and I had this written down, and we kind of got yucking around about. Oh, you know how it happens, Matt.
No,
You and I are the kids in the back seat. Tony's the driver trying to guide us through. But anyway, there's an important change is that the Slacko Live Installer now supports either Grub or Lilo bootloaders, and also a different partition can be used for the home directory. So they noted that in their release notes that didn't appear on DistroWatch, but I wanted to share that. So Tony, back to you.
All right. Right on the 12th, we have Antegros 2015.4.12, and that's their new release with GNOME as their desktop.
And Turgos. Oh yeah, remember they're the old Synarch guys.
Yeah.
So
All right. Next up, we have Scientific Linux 7.1, and that's one of the Red Hat
Rebranding.
rebrandings. Yeah.
But they also, the reason it takes them a little longer than CentOS to get out is because they also add lots of other applications that aren't necessarily part of RHEL for scientific purposes.
yeah, because it's a Fermi Lab sponsored
Right.
project, and it was kind of funny. They some of the stuff here, it says they're, let's see here. Yeah, our primary user base is within the high energy and high intensity physics community. However, their users come from a wide variety of industries with various use cases all over the globe. And they said, and sometimes off the globe. One thing they noted here, and it's very interesting, Scientific Linux is a rebuild, as we just mentioned, of Red Hat Enterprise Linux. We normally call them the upstream vendor. TUV is the initials that they use. Our references to TUV are intended to make it clear that Scientific Linux is in no way affiliated, supported, or sanctioned by upstream. By not using their name, we hope to make this distinction as clear as possible. We wish to note, and this is what they said, we wish to note for the record, TUV has not tried to hinder the development of Scientific Linux. TUV has been a faithful, so I guess I'd be saying Red Hat. TUV has been a faithful partner with the open source community at large. We hold them in the highest regard. Our FAQ covers our feelings about TUV in greater detail. And they kind of said, "Oh, we love them." You know,
Yeah.
that was like their first question and answer.
I think what inspired that though was the fact that Red Hat acquired Senos, so now there's a direct relationship there.
Oh,
So
okay.
Scientific Linux started to do the whole
Okay.
TUV thing to kind of really separate themselves. Like we're not part of that family at all.
Yeah, I wasn't, you know, I don't use Scientific Linux, but when I saw that when I was researching the site, I thought, wow, that kind of bears mentioning. You know, just it's kind of interesting. So.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right. On the 14th, we have Tauto Linux 6.0 and I don't know. Slanix, the SLAX.
Slaxon or RCX.
All right. And I don't remember seeing this one on here either.
Yeah, it's been up there before.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
I think it's based for kids or for children.
Puppy for French-speaking users
Oh, that's
with
it.
OpenBox.
Yeah, so it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Oh, here's one that Hanathana.
Anthana.
Anthana.
What is it with you and those extra A's?
Extra
I
A's
don't
you
know.
throw in there. I think when there are three consonants.
Anthana?
Anthana. I think when there are three consonants together, there's urge to put an A in there, put a vowel in there.
Well, there's a lot of A's in this. The only vowels in this are A's. So,
Anthana.
all right. Anyway, so that's April 14th, Anthana Linux 21. And they're based on Fedora 21 with several desktop flavors like GNOME, KDE, XFCE, Sugar, and LXDE.
Mm-hmm.
Tony, are you ready for the next one? You should be ready for the next one, Tony.
Makulu.
There you go.
I should have had a little sound bite up there with all these applause. Excellent.
So on the 15th, they have the LXFCE edition.
Yes.
So they have the desktops, LXDE and XFCE.
Yeah, and did you know that Steam is pre-installed on Makulu?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can simply log into Steam and start playing your favorite game titles. So.
All right.
Yeah, and they also.
Well, as long as you have a Steam account.
Well, yeah. Of course, Matt. That sounds like something I would say. Although some other distros have Wine pre-installed, these guys, Makulu, also has Wine pre-installed. And by the way, too, they use Kingsoft Office. They don't use OpenOffice or
Really?
LibreOffice. No.
Kingsoft Office has an open source version. I thought that was a pay for product.
Yeah. Apparently, they must have maybe a freemium version or something. I kind of thought that too, and because you don't really see Kingsoft, and wasn't it a Chinese product, as I recall? It's got the familiar look and feel of Microsoft Office for users that are coming from a Windows environment. And they said it's fully compatible with Microsoft Office file types. So, but yeah, Kingsoft is what they use, or what comes pre-installed. Now, you certainly can install LibreOffice and uninstall KingOffice or Kingsoft Office if that's your preference.
All right.
Anything to add, Matt?
No, it's apparently free and open source.
Is it?
I think so. Yeah.
Really?
All right. Well, we can
Okay.
continue on it while you do your research, man. On the 16th, we have pfSense 2.2.2, and that's a firewall distro based on FreeBSD, and that's what I run now here at my house. Um, and they said it's bug fixes. There's a couple severe ones and a couple minor ones. They said one of the severe ones is there's multiple OpenSSL vulnerabilities that are patched, which would um, cause a denial service.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said if you're upgrading from the 2.2.x or 2.2x version, then it's a low risk upgrade. So I'm just gonna hit upgrade. That's really
sounds good.
nice. It does have a nice upgrade system where I can just
Yeah,
through the web browser, I just click the button and it upgrades.
that's the wonders of BSD. Um, so, and how's it been going for you as far as using pfSense? Pretty smoothly?
Yeah, it's been really nice. The one thing that I wanted to do right away, but I need to do a little bit of research is I want to set up IPv6 on the internal network,
Mhm.
and we have with DHCP and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
there was a few numbers that when I tried to put it in originally, it didn't work right. So
Oh,
I
okay.
just held off until I could do more research.
Oh, okay. Okay. By the way, too, you may not be aware of this. pfSense, you can purchase a gold subscription for like $99 a year. It's kind of a premium subscription. It entitles you to some extra support, and then also they've got a monthly video conference with a developer from the project, and you have the opportunity to participate in that. Now, I think for somebody who may not be as well skilled in firewall configuration like you are, might benefit from that. But when you think about it and break it down, it's like less than $9 a month,
Yeah,
which could be useful for
yeah,
someone.
that would be. Yeah, and I think if I was supporting production firewalls like at a business,
Yeah,
then I definitely would do that.
yeah,
But just because it's my own thing here at home, then
yeah. Just leave it open and insecure. Okay.
it's not insecure.
I know, I'm kidding you, but yeah, no, you're right. I think if you had a production, you were in a kind of a corporate or office environment with a firewall, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're also associated Kingsoft with this WPS office, and
Mhm.
they're a subscription kind of plan, the WPS office, and they run on anything. They'll run on your computer, your tablet, your phone.
Your toaster.
Yeah, no,
Huh.
seriously, they'll run on anything, and
Wow.
so you could use the same Office suite across all your devices
Oh,
because they run on Windows, Linux, your phone, iOS on your phone. or
really?
Nice.
What's the catch?
No catch. Other than it's $2.99 a month to $30 for a year.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
And next up we have is Xtex 15.2, and they currently have two versions, KDE and LXQT. Yeah.
LXQT.
All right.
LXQT. Yeah, they use the Qt, the Qt infrastructure, the framework to develop. It must have taken
It says-
LXDE and
Oh, and
here
redone
it
it in
is. Qt.
Qt.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
yeah.
they actually talk about it here. It's
Oh, yeah.
LXQT is the Qt port of the
There we go.
upcoming version
We
of
didn't even read
LXDE and the lightweight desktop environment. So
Okay.
Mary
Yeah.
got it right.
Yeah.
What he said.
Yeah.
It's,
It's
it's actually here's interesting. It says it's a merge between LXDE QT and Razor QT.
I hate
Oh.
Razor QT. I hate it.
That was kind of the stripped down.
It's a tiling window manager, and I just.
I remember that. There were a lot of stuff missing. Yeah.
I mean, people. It's one of those things you either love it or you hate it. And
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and last on our list is KOS 15.04, and that's with KDE Plasma 5 desktop.
Yes.
Ooh.
All right.
What are they based on?
Well, I thought they were
KDE.
originally based.
I'm just joking.
No, KOS. KOS. I believe has some Arch DNA in it.
It says based on independent.
Well, it's independent, but it uses. Here's the thing, though. It uses Octopi. It uses Pac-Man.
Well,
It was
Pac-Man's-
inspired by Arch.
It was
That's what
inspired.
says.
Okay, there you go. Oh, he went out to No, that's Bella OS you're looking at.
No, look right here. That's an advertisement.
Oh,
It says iOS.
oh, that's embarrassing. Tony, can you cut that out? Well, it was this big banner and it said Bella OS.
Yeah, you know, for
He sounds like a little motor over there, doesn't he?
Oh, I do not have PBR or whatever the freak PBA or the disease is. You see those commercials on TV?
No.
no.
Did you have uncontrollable fits of laughter?
What?
No. Is that Saturday Night Live?
No, it's a real thing.
Uncontrollable
I see
fits of-
these
I
things-
do sometimes, but it's usually because it's funny. Something's funny.
Or either laughter or crying. No, it's
No.
uncontrollable, meaning you have no control. They just have it's a mental
No.
thing.
Oh,
It's
really?
like PBA or something. It is something.
Pulmonary?
No, something for the P,
Something
which
that
I
starts
can't
with a P.
remember. And then it's bulbar affect.
I had never heard of this condition.
Yes.
Is that
Well,
like the
Matt.
opposite of Tourette's?
Tourette's.
It's
Well.
no, it's
Okay. Well,
I'm joking. by
I
the
see it because the reason I remember is because one of the things that can cause it is a stroke.
oh,
Oh,
really?
Yes.
Ooh, okay. By the way, too, I think CowOS, they're pretty cutting edge, and they've got, I believe, the KDE. I think don't they have Plasma 5 in there, I believe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've been kind of eyeing that now. You know, I've been running Kubuntu on my home desktop
Yeah.
for years, and I run PCBSD on this.
hmm
Although I have Kubuntu installed in a virtual.
Commercial with this gentleman right here.
No, is that Danny Glover?
Yes.
No, I have never seen this commercial. And for those of you who listen in, Matt has on his laptop this website.
That's Danny Glover insinuating crying.
Okay,
He does that in the commercial.
I just have not. What channel do you watch these on?
I don't no idea. I watched some
Comedy
rock
Central?
Your sling, whatever.
stuff. Yeah.
Sling
Oh,
service.
it's a Sling.
No,
It's
no,
probably
no,
a Sling.
no.
Probably a Sling commercial.
Anyway, Sling is just the whatever the broadcaster is sending out. Is what their thing.
I
But
bet
no,
they
I see this
insert
on like
commercials.
TBS
Uh-huh.
or I watch a lot of Spike and I watch a lot of
Oh, I don't even watch Spike. That's why. That's why it's the men channels.
the X
Yeah,
what's that? LX
XXX channel.
No, I don't get that sadly, but but there's plenty of that on the internet. No, it's that.
I
What the hell is that X?
X Games.
No, the X. They have
Um,
those series. Oh,
Fearless Fighting.
No.
Anyway, I think I
I
think
have no clue. what-
Matt, I think the reason why I haven't
Channel 67 in Bright House if you're in the
Okay.
Detroit area, whatever.
I believe the reason why I haven't seen these commercials is because I watch none of those channels. House and Garden.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
How
mine.
about we actually continue with the show?
Okay, if
All
we
right.
have to.
I apologize,
no,
Tony.
it's all right. All right. So let's go to the top.
Pseudo-bulbar affect, I think. That's now that I've closed the
All
website.
right, Tony, go ahead.
The distro of the week, according to Distro Watch, calculated by website hits per day.
And the top 5 for the week.
Oh, yeah.
So at number 5 we have Intergros
Wait, I'm not ready. Now I'm ready.
with
And
1411,
And trending up.
and number 4 we have Debian with 1494,
And trending up.
and number 3 we have Elementary with 1778.
And trending down.
Number 2 is Ubuntu with 1798,
And trending up.
and in the number 1 spot is Mint
Gotta love that minty goodness.
with 3216.
And trending
All right.
Trending down. Okay.
down.
Hey, what happened to the minty goodness?
I said it.
All right, I was obviously getting ready for my segment.
All right.
What distro are you reviewing this week, Mary?
Well, actually, I'm not reviewing a distro this week. I'm actually going to spend some time talking about licenses, software licenses, and specifically the BSD license and the GPL. And this this review or discussion actually arose out of a recent discussion on the show, and also subsequent emails that came in regarding whether one license is better than the other. So I thought, I'm going to do a little checking and just get some information and then share it. And actually, the research I did, I thought it was very interesting. I found a whole bunch of quiz questions for next week.
Because
And
at PenguinCon we're going to do
Yes.
audience participation.
Yep, it's going to be the audience is alive. So that should be kind of fun. But anyway, so out on the freebsd.org website, there's a page out there that talks, and again, it's biased to the FreeBSD license, but I also did some additional research outside of that site. So I'm hoping that the information I provide does lay out kind of a more balanced view. Not that this isn't balanced, but there's a little bias there, understandably.
Do you make a distinction between the 3-clause and the 4-clause license?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I did some research on that. The 4-clause license, I think Richard Stallman had apparently gotten a little, not upset, but there was this clause in the original BSD license that I guess it was kind of considered advertisement that they said they had to pull out to make the 3-clause license. So they and I'm kind of getting way ahead of myself here, but yeah,
Well,
I mean that's the distinction that. Okay,
I was
but
just
anyway,
curious.
yeah. So the current BSD license now is a 3-clause license.
Correct.
Yes, and actually there's
a 2-clause license.
I was just going to say that. I saw that too. But anyway, so let's see here. Anyway, but as part of this page on the freebsd.org website, there were really some interesting historic milestones that they included as part of the whole software development paradigm. When software was first developed, it was done by computer companies who really sold hardware, and the software was automatically bundled in as like one unit. I mean,
Yep.
this is your device.
Your
this is
killer app.
computer.
If you buy our
Yeah.
hardware, you get this app
Yes.
with it. And this app it'll make you toast in the morning.
Yes, and then that started to change in the 1960s when a company called Applied Data Research, or ADR, they had been founded, I think, in 1959 by some old UNIVAC programmers. What they did is they developed the first licensed software product independent of a hardware company. And they were actually competing against IBM. And, IBM during that time they tended to be locked up in court in various antitrust lawsuits. But anyway, this ADR, they patented
Whatever.
licensed. No,
Whatever you
they-
say,
yeah.
Tony.
Their software, and to stop sharing of it, they provided it under an equipment lease in which payment was spread out over the lifetime of the product. So that's how they kind of locked you down. So they retained ownership and control over the whole thing, and they could control resale and reuse. And then in 1969, the Department of Justice filed the antitrust lawsuit against IBM, charging them with destroying businesses because they had bundled their free software with their hardware. I guess apparently how they had bundled it had caused this whole lawsuit to happen. But as a result of the suit, then IBM had to unbundle its software, and thus software became a completely independent product, separate from the hardware. And then in 1968, now here's the interesting part. You want to know when the whole idea of a perpetual license where you actually didn't own the software came to be? It was in 1968 when a company called Informatics introduced the first commercial killer app and rapidly established the concept of software product and the software company. Because IBM was still a hardware company.
Yeah.
But these guys were purely software.
As a bit of an aside here.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched the show, the television show? I don't know if it was a Netflix thing or if it was an AMC thing, but it was called Halt and Catch Fire.
No, I've never heard of it.
Ah.
Halt and Catch Fire.
Yes.
Okay.
It's Halt and Catch Fire is a really old computer thing where basically it would be the command HCF, where you would issue the command HCF, and what it would do would make
from your keyboard.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and into your terminal.
Okay.
And it would cause every process on the system to try and become the number one process. So it would immediately lock your system
It's
up.
like a denial of service.
Right, that's why it was called Halt and Catch Fire.
Wow, I had never heard of that.
So yeah,
Oh, interesting.
so it's about this software company that wants to be like the big software company, but they're a little late to the game. It was I watched the whole season like yesterday or something.
Oh man, okay,
It's great.
well, that's interesting.
So that's what I spent my vacation doing. I also watched the entire season of shoot, what is it now? Oh, Daredevil.
Yeah, I heard that was good.
Oh, excellent.
I
Oh
haven't
man,
seen
it
any
was
of it,
it was
but-
so great. Made you want to just totally forget you ever saw that trash Ben Affleck made.
Made you want to listen to more about the BSD
Oh
license.
yeah. Okay.
But anyway, but during this time now, of course, AT&T Bell Labs, they're owner of the original Unix implementation, which of course was developed by Ken Thompson and Dennis Ritchie.
Yes.
Yes. They were also a defendant in several antitrust lawsuits. And I
Yeah.
remember this because at the time
And-
I was working for a litigation support company, and we would try to get the business, the legal or the document organization aspect of this.
Right,
Because,
sure.
I mean, they would
was
do millions
lots
of discovery
oh, yeah.
documents.
And that's because of AT&T's special status
Mhm.
for being a utility. That's why they didn't originally sell Unix.
Exactly. And that was like actually practically my next sentence. But that one consent decree prevented them from selling Unix, but it did allow them to provide it to academic institutions just for the price of the media. So you deliver it on a big computer, then you pay for the computer. No, just
it's
kidding.
Discs.
Just
It's,
yeah, I know. That's a little joke.
very little.
Anyway, but universities, they jumped on it when they became aware of it because it ran on the DEC PDP 11
Oh, yeah.
quite easily, and then also it was apparently it was a very affordable 16-bit computer, but it also afforded them the opportunity to do programming and do that kind of
Right,
stuff on
because
it
well, you
pretty
got
easily.
the source code with it too.
Yeah.
You could modify it. It was
Yes,
hugely
Yeah.
popular.
and it was at the time, and I didn't realize this, but Unix was written in C.
Yes.
I didn't know that. I may have known it, but I didn't retain it. I stuck it in short-term memory by mistake. But anyway, so then Ken Thompson, he left Bell Labs and went back to UC Berkeley.
Correct.
Returned to his alma mater, and he taught the kernel line by line. And so what they then did is they started to improve it and do different things
BSD,
to it.
Berkeley Systems Distribution.
Precisely, and they turned it into they converted it to a 32-bit system. They added virtual memory. They did a whole bunch of different things, including implementing the version of the TCP IP stack upon which the internet was essentially built.
Yes. Who did that? Who's responsible for that?
UC Berkeley. Was my answer wide enough to be right?
No, but we'll move on.
All right. Who was it?
I forget his name now. It was
So do I.
this guy. I have his autograph on a T-shirt. It was him and another guy.
And I'm sure
Their
when I hear their
names
name,
have
I'll say,
totally
of course.
escaped me right now. Tony, you can look that up for us.
Okay. But anyway, so, but continuing on with this though, what they did is they also made BSD available for the cost of the media, and that became known then, or the original one became known as the BSD license, and that I think was the 4-clause license, very permissive license from the get-go. So apparently, they ordered the page said that customers purchased Unix from AT&T and then ordered the BSD tape from UC Berkeley, which on the face of it didn't make sense to me. So I'm not going to spend a lot of
Well,
time
it
talking
was
about
mostly
Maybe
just
it was
the
because-
original. Originally, it was just a bunch of patches that
Oh,
you added to Unix.
okay, that's what you did. Yeah, okay, now it makes sense. So once AT&T was forced to break up, then they could get into licensing Unix.
Correct, and
And
that's-
they jumped in with both feet,
Right,
and
and
then
that's
some.
when they decided that your distribution
Is ours.
Yes.
We're not going to let you distribute it. Yeah. So they took them to court. They took UC Berkeley to court
Yes, they
over this
did.
whole thing. And in the meantime, over in Finland, Linus
That's what-
Torvalds.
And I've always said to this day that lawsuit that AT&T instituted against the BSD from Berkeley is what allowed Linux to get the foothold it has.
Mhm.
If that lawsuit would have never occurred, then I really don't believe Linux would have the foothold it has. I believe we would all be using some version of BSD.
Probably not. And it took, I think, Linus Torvalds about a year to put Linux under the GPL license because initially he didn't. And
Well, he
then,
had no license on it at all, I thought initially, didn't he?
well, he might have had something, but it was not, it was not nearly as encompassing as the GPL. So then
Right.
I think about a year later, after there was some discussion, Stallman and his GNU tools and all of that. When
Well, because
because
he
the
used
kernel
all
by
the
itself wasn't really
right. He
useful.
used all the GNU tools, which probably would have been an
And
influence to
that's
using the
exactly,
GPL
and that's what it
license.
was based on the research I saw in Wikipedia.
Yeah. Whereas if he'd gone with the BSD,
hmm
I really think
But-
that if that lawsuit hadn't happened, more people would have, because that lawsuit basically kept third parties from using BSD.
hmm
So it didn't get really popular. Linux had no such encumberment.
Well, there were some programmers from UC Berkeley who who rewrote the code that had the AT&T, or at least rewrote the AT&T code that was associated with BSD, and that resulted in a system that was. And I remember seeing reference
Right.
to this.
Well, they had to
4.4
take
Lite, 4.4
yeah.
Lite.
they had to take like it was either 2 or 3 files out of it.
Well, it lacked. Here's the thing, though. That 4.4 Lite was not the complete BSD
Correct.
system
It wouldn't
because
boot.
it
You couldn't
lacked.
boot it.
There were six AT&T
Oh,
files
it might
that
have 6.
they,
Okay.
that it lacked, and
It
then
was a really small number, is
yeah,
whatever.
it was very
is what
small.
It came down to.
So eventually, they were able to replace those files, and then BSD was then known as 386 BSD.
Right.
So that was the first instance where it was kind of fully
They had to
incomplete.
clean room it too. Did you know that?
No.
When they had to recreate those 6 files,
hmm
the people who wrote those 6 files
hmm
had to have never seen the source code of the
Oh,
6 files.
It makes
Yeah.
sense. Sure. Yeah, that makes sense because you don't want to have that floating around in your head
Right.
subconsciously or
So
consciously.
yeah, so they had to have never seen
Oh,
that source
interesting.
code.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So that essentially is kind of the core of the BSD that is used today. So, but then of course Novell kind of comes into the picture, and they purchased AT&T's Unix rights in what was then apparently a secret agreement to terminate. I guess there was a lawsuit between them, and there was some kind of secret agreement to terminate the lawsuit, and Novell purchased it. And then at that point in time, UC Berkeley just terminated its support for BSD, and then it kind of went off on its own because it had, as we just talked about, had its own 386 BSD. So now the so-called new BSD license, because we just talked about the fact they had the 4-paragraph, they lopped
the
off
4
this,
clause,
this one clause, and
What was the clause they lost?
the clause they lost, it was termed advertising, and that's how Stallman had termed it. And I'd have to go back and look that up specifically, but it was just some reference.
It listed the regions, wasn't it?
No, I don't think
The
it was.
Berkeley regions?
It didn't list them individually, but I think it
Or
listed
made
references to
the
them.
Berkeley regions,
Yeah, and it was termed advertisement. And
right.
so,
For Berkeley,
and they kind of agreed, yeah, we don't really need that.
and especially since they're no longer part of it.
Yeah. So they got rid of it. But anyway, so basically, the quote unquote new BSD license, which is a 3 clause, says that you can do anything with the program or its source, but you do not have any warranty, and none of the authors has any liability, so you can't sue them. So you don't have to give back. You don't have to do any of that.
Right.
We've talked about that
But you've
several
got to
times.
keep what?
You've got to keep the copyright notice in there, and there's you got to keep the
list of
license.
contributors.
Yeah. Well, I'd have to go look that up to see specifically
And then
what
I thought
those
that's
are.
what I thought the clause to get rid of the list of contributors is what they got out for the 2 clause.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about the 2 clause. I'm just talking about it in general, just as
Right.
far as in general, because it's a very permissive license.
Yeah.
But they said that
It's-
any BSD code can be sold or included in proprietary products without any restrictions on the availability of your code or your future behavior.
Exactly.
Now, the concept behind this, as I noted, based on some additional research I did, is the idea here is that if you do that, there's a tendency for whatever it is you release out to become a standard because people
Correct.
don't have to give back.
Exactly.
And there was some discussion about when Google released WebM, that in a very permissive license, that was their strategy, because if you release it out like that, people are going to use it, and then it tends to become the de facto standard.
Well, and
Which I think is kind of clever,
a lot of
actually.
times it'll become the standard if
Yeah.
it gets. But I forget where I was going to say now.
That's okay. Well, anyway, but they
Oh,
go ahead.
That is why the Microsoft for a long time used BSD's TCP/IP stack.
Yeah, that I saw some discussion on that. That it's in there. I mean, maybe it's not no
It's
longer
not
in there.
anymore. They've rewritten it now. But for a long time, it was in there. It
Mhm.
was part of the Microsoft source code, and they could do that because of the BSD license.
Mhm. Yeah, and, there was a whole bunch of discussion about that. People say, oh, anything under the BSD license, people who do that are suckers, and they blah blah blah.
Wow.
Well, it's their
Doesn't
choice.
matter. It's their
a choice,
choice.
you know. So anyway, but then,
If you don't like it, become a GPLer.
yeah, well, the GPL now. They went into some discussion about that and how Richard Stallman, when he was at MIT, they had developed a whole set of tools and a whole bunch of other things that he wanted to tweak after apparently some of these programmers had left to kind of commercialize.
It was a printer driver is
Okay.
what caused the
Yes.
entire GNU
So
project to become about.
when they left, he discovered that he could not legally do that, and he was upset about that. So what that led then to the formulation of the GPL. And what I discovered is that there's a difference between static link. Well, I mean, I know technically there's a difference between statically linked files and dynamically linked files, and that's how the LGPL came into existence, because it originally was library GPL, but then they changed it to lesser, and that's because I think if static links in then made whatever derivative product that had to fall under the GPL, and if it was dynamically linked, then it didn't. At least at the time of this writing, which was like 2009. So they came up with the LGPL in order to account for that. So according to the BSD site, they said that the GPL was designed to be the antithesis of the standard proprietary license. To this end, any modifications that were made to a GPL program were required to be given back to the GPL community. And any program that used or linked to GPL code was required to be under the GPL, which is what I just mentioned. And so basically, the intent is to prevent any software from becoming proprietary.
Right. Well, the problem I have with the GPL and their claim to be the open source license
The restrictive.
You've got the iron fist of proprietary license, and then you have the iron fist of the GPL. Let's do it our way or take the highway, you know. And that's why the BSD is by far the superior license.
Well, I mean, for those who have a need for it, I think, I mean, because you can make arguments.
It's
I
so
can see
much more business friendly. Do you know how many routers out there are based on OpenBSD?
Oh, I think Cisco.
A lot of firewalls
Yeah.
out there are I'm talking commercial grade firewalls.
Yeah.
Are based on OpenBSD because of the PF in it.
Yep.
And because they can do that.
Yep. So anyway, but so the GPL. I mean that, and I can understand why the GPL does what it does too. And I think, as we've said on previous episodes, and I'll say it again, it's really up to the author of the software to determine what he or she wants to use for their work. And that's the beauty of, I think, the whole open source community, is that we've got a lot of choices here. And arguing whether one is, and I realize you like the BSD license, and I completely understand why. And I think the whole standards aspect of it, or that whole concept, makes a ton of sense. I also understand, as far as GPL goes, why it makes sense that if you're going to use that, you need to give that stuff back, because it forces you to do that. And I think that's the difference.
Well, the GPL version 2 was I'm not going to say okay, because I think
tolerable.
It's still restricted, but it was tolerable.
Mm-hmm.
But the GPL v3 is just.
Yeah, I did a little bit of looking into that, and that is, I'd have to go back and.
Because it makes you have to give your changes back if you not even associate with the GPL if you use the.
Well, anyway, there's a news item I'm going to be sharing in a little bit that kind of talks back to this. So, but what I want to do today, as I said, is to do a little bit of research and discuss the GPL, the BSD license, a little bit of history and background. So I hope you enjoyed that.
I do.
All right, thanks, Matt.
All right. Exciting. Thank you.
Is that the end of your?
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially. I mean, I just wanted to talk a little bit, about that. Do you want me to? How would you like me to wrap it up?
No. If that's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's see here. Yeah. In contrast to the GPL, which is designed to prevent proprietary commercialization of open source code, the BSD license places minimal restrictions on future behavior. This allows BSD code to remain open source or become integrated into commercial solutions as a project's company's needs change. Oh, the other thing too is the whole orphaning thing. where they believe, at least the BSD folks believe that as far as software becoming an orphan, the BSD license is better for that because it allows a company then to take that software and to make it their own, and as long as they comply with the license,
Right.
and continue it on.
Yep.
And it's and I think that has a orphan software has a better, or software has a better chance of not becoming orphan because of that, at least
Correct.
for a company's needs, where SourceForge
And
is
something
kind of
else
littered
too
with
is,
orphans
and
from the
large
GPL.
companies will come to realize this very quickly, is yes, you can lock this code up inside your own proprietary box and make your own proprietary changes to it and distribute it however you want. Your problem then is with every new release of the open source version,
I was just
drift,
thinking that.
you drift further and further apart, and your software becomes much harder to maintain at that point.
Hmm.
And incorporating patches from the open source side become much harder to implement.
Hmm.
And so that there is where lies the incentive to give back. That's why Netflix, who's a huge user of BSD,
Yep.
gives back.
Hmm.
I realize their servers all run CentOS, but still, they also use BSD in for a lot
Yeah,
of
they
their
do.
routing and switching.
So anyway, but there'll be a link to these pages in the show notes.
Great.
So there you have it. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about the two licenses and a little history and background. So,
Cool.
okay.
All right. So I guess we're going on to
It's time for the tech news of the week.
the news.
The news. Well, I think it's probably a good segue for me to kind of talk about the one news item that that is kind of related to what I just talked about,
All right.
and that has to do with, coincidentally, BSD. There was, and I also have to attribute this to the BSD Now podcast, which I listen to regularly, because they had it in their show this week, and it was so apropos to the discussion I was researching that I decided to include it. Apparently, there was a note on, I believe, the tech mailing list for OpenBSD that was from an Oracle developer. Interestingly enough, and what this Oracle developer had indicated is that there was some kind of a little code bug in their PF.
You know
Hang
what
on a
PF
second.
stands for? Packet filter.
Yeah, I knew that, and I was getting to it, but you were a little faster. You're a little faster than I am. I'm sorry, Matt, but anyway, so let me just go ahead and put this out here. I want to get to this itself. Yeah, so they were testing PBR on Solaris, which I think is that particular firewall, and they said we found that there was an instance of, and again he kind of describes it in technical terms, and then in the next paragraph he provides the line number and then the code that would be needed to fix it. So what's really interesting is that Oracle apparently is going to be moving away for the Solaris part. It's going to be moving away from the particular product that they now use, and it's probably going to be
firewall.
Yeah, it's going to probably be using this
PF.
PF, yeah, PBR, whatever, PBR,
Yeah, blue ribbon.
PBR rules. But anyway, so when I saw this, I thought it was kind of interesting. I mean, it's very technical. I don't understand what this code really means. There's the word panic in there, which is about what I'm doing now. But it was kind of interesting. And so, and Matt, this goes back to that whole discussion about that you just mentioned, when companies start to use this stuff that's freely available. This came completely unsolicited from Oracle, because they understand that if they're going to start to use this, if they keep this patch themselves, then they're going to have a whole library, a whole file folder of patches they're going to have to always apply
and update
update,
because they would drift so much further from the open source version of the product.
Yes.
So even Oracle gives back under the BSD license. Shocker.
Yeah. So anyway, that is because I think they're moving away, because OpenBSD moved away from IPF, I think is what they were using, and it's using PF. IPF.
OpenBSD?
Yeah.
I thought they always used PF.
No, IPF was the original firewall in OpenBSD, and at the time also had been ported to NetBSD and FreeBSD and other systems. But anyway, IPF had fallen out of favor almost everywhere, and again, with Solaris, they needed to make that change too.
Right,
And
right.
that's why we ended up with what we. So they were doing their due diligence testing as they should, and were nice enough to contribute that back. A lot of BSD in this show, isn't it? I'm digging it. Okay, that was my Tony's.
Maybe
okay.
we ought to switch. We'll
Nice.
be the Sunday morning BSD review.
We did. Remember we did that once, Tony? You reviewed NetBSD.
Yeah,
Didn't you get it running on your toaster?
I did.
Because it can run
Long time
everywhere.
ago.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
actually, I had it running on a SGI workstation from like 1990 or something.
You can run it on NetBSD can run on anything practically.
Yeah.
And that's their claim to fame, and that's what they focus on. So
Well, did you know that's where OpenBSD comes from?
I think so.
And it's
I may have
and
known
it's
that.
the BSD
Or I
that
may be
runs.
faking it.
And no. And this is why it's funny, because it's the BSD that runs on the fewest number of platforms.
Oh, that is funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
And that was my little news item.
Thanks, Mary. So I found one that has been something we've been watching for a while. And it's TrueCrypt is audited. Or, did you talk about that last show or not? I don't think you did.
We talked about I think part 2 of that audit was still in process when we last talked about it, or was maybe just
Yeah.
wrapping up.
Yeah. So on April 2nd, the reason I asked because April 2nd is when it was done.
Oh
They
yeah, I don't
posted.
know. I don't
So
think
that was
we.
like the day before, a couple days before our show. So
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
don't
if you got into that or.
I think the last time we talked about it was still in process.
Yeah, so it's been audited. It's done. And they said that even though they found a few glitches, those few glitches are practically impossible to have implemented. Like, the attack surface is so small
the vector
that
or
it probably won't. Yeah,
Oh,
it probably
okay.
won't happen. So
it probably won't happen.
Probably, if you're
Some-
comfortable with running
some
software
enterprising.
that's it probably won't happen.
well, the
No, but we understand what you mean. It's so
yeah,
obscure
it's
or
so
whatever.
obscure that the everyday user is safe to go ahead and still use it.
Mhm.
So it's audited and seems to be safe. Now the issue is that they audited version 7.1a, and there's a lot of these, or you've heard of the spin-offs where
Right.
they've taken it and made a little bit of changes and re-sent it out. Or the thing is though is, do we know the changes they made are still safe? Those haven't been audited. So if you're interested in getting that original version that's been audited, the 7.1a, you really can't download it from the TrueCrypt website because they closed that off.
Oh.
So I'm including a link to the grc.com website, which is the Gibson Research Company or Corporation, which is Steve Gibson from
Yep.
Security Now. And he has links on there so you can download it and his interpretation of the audit and everything. So it looks pretty cool. I think
Yeah. Okay.
he does. If you want to listen to the last Security Now show, or actually it's 2 weeks ago now, he does an in-depth explanation of
Mhm.
His analysis of it. And it's pretty cool.
That does sound good.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
This is my turn.
Sure.
That's right. You're third.
I have two stories. The first is from the EFF, and it's available on their website. I'll have a link in the show notes.
Proud
It's-
member I am.
United Airlines stops researcher who tweeted about airline network security from boarding flight to security conferences. Chris Roberts, a founder of the security intelligence firm One World Labs, found himself detained by the FBI earlier this week after tweeting about airplane network security during a United Airlines flight. When Roberts landed in Syracuse, he was questioned by the FBI, which ultimately seized a bunch of his devices. I copy and paste there. I've got some
That's
wacky
good.
stuff going
I
on.
like how you recover a bunch of his devices. That's exactly what I would have said.
I think that's what it said in the article.
All
But
right.
unfortunately, last week's tweet and FBI action isn't the end of the story. Roberts was back at the airport on Saturday evening, headed to San Francisco to attend two high-profile security conferences, the RSA conference, where he is scheduled to present on Thursday, and B-side San Francisco. After Roberts retrieved his boarding pass, made his way through TSA checkpoint, and reached the gate, United corporate security personnel stopped him from boarding the plane. Roberts was told to expect a letter explaining the reasons for not being allowed to travel on the United. Thankfully, Roberts was able to book a last-minute flight on another airline that has now landed safely in San Francisco.
Did he get his money back?
Oh, that's where it is.
Probably did.
Because I pasted this in. It's seized a number of his electronics devices.
What did you say?
I said a
Stick a bunch
bunch.
of his stuff. That makes sense, though.
But yeah.
Well, the other one sounds a little more sophisticated. Hey, but yours got the job done.
done. So, so it really was a copy and paste error. I copy and pasted into the middle of a sentence.
That's all right.
But
That's all right.
anyway,
Oh,
and
that's...
my other one, or what?
Oh, I was just going to comment on that whole thing. So, so he discovered. I think. Well, they obviously got ticked off that he broadcast it out.
Yeah, he was like I read the tweet, and it was one part of it was the command that you would issue to make all the oxygen masks.
Really?
Oh, that's irresponsible.
Yeah.
That,
Why?
Well, he didn't tweet how to hack into it first. You have to
No,
get into it.
You have to get into it first.
Oh, well, still though, I think
If you got into it, it would be trivial to find that command, Mary.
I'm sure,
It's
but
probably a question mark.
but I think what he really should have done is should have contacted their
Screw
security
'em.
folks.
If you're vulnerable, broadcast it. If you find a vulnerability, broadcast it. You don't give anybody a chance.
That's cruel. No,
That's life.
no. I think
Yes,
what you
yes,
do,
yes.
I think. Well, no. I'm not saying you don't release it. I'm just saying you let them know and just say, hey, you got 72 hours to fix this before we force you to fix it because we're going to release it. That's what you do. I mean, you know.
Well, actually, the responsible way, there's like I said, it's supposed to be 90 days.
Oh, well, that's too long.
Google's thing is 60 days.
Mhm.
Like
Okay.
if they find it and they give you 60 days, and Microsoft's balked at that because they'll find holes in Microsoft, and they'll give them 60 days. But
Still
if
not
the
fixed.
60-day is like a day after their Patch Tuesday, then they really only have 30 days to patch it, because then they'll release it before the next patch is released. They'll
Mhm.
release the vulnerability, so Microsoft like freaks out over it.
Fuck 'em.
Mm.
Man, come on.
Sorry.
Oh my God. Singed them.
Yeah. Your virgin ears, right?
3, 2, 1. Huh. So well, that was interesting, Tony.
Yeah, screw
There.
All right, yeah. Well,
Well, I just think that in the realm of mature adults, you would want
Hey,
to give somebody some
them. Mature
notice.
adults use those words all the time.
Yeah, well.
So don't give me those snide
No,
looks.
no. I'm talking. No. I'm talking about from the perspective of giving some advance warning to a company before you
Yes.
out there, insecurity.
Okay, well, I live in the land of immature adults and out it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess. Yeah, I can understand how you would tend to do that. I mean, just because of your environment. All those 30, 20, and 30 somethings. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Matt. That was
I
your
have another one.
Go ahead. Let's go ahead and rip that one up. Keep going.
This is from IT World.
Mhm.
So it's out there on their website, and I'll have a link in the show notes. It's called Forge.mil. Changed how the U.S. military develops software. The U.S. military has become more and more interested in open source software. Forge.mil is one of the latest achievements in the U.S. military's move toward open source inside its various branches. The primary goals of developing the open source Forge.mil community were to create a more open and transparent development process that could remove barriers to reuse, encourage collaboration, and discourage proprietary or closed systems. This fact was also written up by two different places. The story that I got my information from was the one on IT World, but there is also another story on opensource.com. So
Huh.
I'll have both links.
Okay, very good. We're over here trying to find something.
yeah.
What are you
We didn't
looking
hear a
for?
word you said.
So is that
Huh.
better than something like, or it's still a government agency and open source.
Well, yeah, because it's got the .mil, and you can't get the .mil unless you're a military.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, do we still trust it if they're releasing their?
Yeah, because it's the
patches or-
code. You can read the code.
Yeah.
Look at the code.
All right.
It's on the code, Tony.
It's GPL.
No, I don't know. Actually, I don't know what license most of it is. but
Okay.
It's some sort of open source license.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. I got a cool tool when you're ready.
I think this is a good time for it.
I think so. And I got KDE Corner.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I tell you, it's busy. It's busy. All right. Well, the cool tool I have, and actually I put this out on my Google Plus stream earlier, and what it is, it's called. Hang on a minute. Talk quietly amongst yourself. My computer's going crazy. Where is it? I just lost myself here. Here it is. No, that's not it either. Here it is. It's called Screen Fetch. And
yeah, I'm on X Modlos or something.
yeah, modal. Yeah.
Yeah, I get their newsletter.
Yeah. Well, I took a look at this. I installed it and tried it, and I really liked it because what it does.
Looks retarded, but go ahead.
Well, it kind of combines some cool little ASCII art with some smart, system tools, system tools. So what happens is when you run it, it's going to generate an ASCII art version of the distro's logo that you're running. So, for example, you get the little Ubuntu wheel or the
Fedora's stylized F.
yeah, and that's kind of
Slackware man with the pipe.
Yeah, there you got it, something like that. Yeah, or the big arch A, etc. And then it's also going to share some information about your system, and that that's basically resources used, that kind of thing. So it's really kind of cool. And what you do there, it's available for Arch, Gentoo, Debian based, including Ubuntu, and you just simply just do an apt-get update, apt-get install, and then go ahead and run screen fetch, and you can add different options to kind of customize it if that's your preference. So there'll be a link to that particular little tool in the show notes. I thought it was kind of cool, so I did. It's just one of those little eye candy things, command line eye candy. There's not a lot of that. I mean, there's some. My screensaver is the ASCII, aquarium.
Ooh.
So, all right.
Ah.
All right, and we're going to move on to we're moving on then to the KDE Corner. I've got a couple of things that I'm kind of excited about actually. I think an episode or two ago we talked about KDE and Live being included in the KDE.
Yes, it now is.
Yes, and they just released an updated version of it, and that occurred. I think it was last week when they did, and that was on the 15th actually of April, and that is KDE Applications 1.5.04. It added the KDE and Live video editing program, and then also telepathy chat, which is I think KDE's chat program, which I don't even use. And so that's out and available. I'm going to be looking into that and hopefully getting the latest version when Ubuntu releases itself. Otherwise, I'm going to KOS or KAOS, that other distro, because they're cutting edge. The other thing I wanted to mention is that this new release of KDE and Live contains layered compositing. So that capability is in this new release. And then there was an article published in opensource.com that talked about 9 reasons to use KDE. And did you see my posting on Google Plus? I said, what? Only 9?
Yeah. I made reference to it before we started the show.
Oh my God! Yeah.
You said, "What are you talking about?" And I said, your post.
I have no recollection of that. But anyway, I mean, some of them were all right, but it was just sort of fun. I mean, I did it more for the title of the article, just the joke value. If I get some humor out of something.
I got it, Mary.
All right. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's this episode's KDE Corner. Tony, over to you.
Thank you, Mary.
What are we,
Right.
sports talk?
I don't want to talk sports. Yesterday was an abomination.
Oh my God, that game!
Well,
See, I sleep when it's on, though. I'm asleep. When I wake up, I just have to.
not
I
only the
go to
hockey game, but the Tigers got
I didn't see
killed
the Tigers at
12
all.
to
Oh
4 in
my
baseball.
Holy cow!
Oh my God. I was in an all day seminar, trading and investment seminar. So I had my phone and I put it down. I thought, I'm not looking at it anymore. So anyway,
Yeah.
it was awful.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Okay, Tony, over to you.
All right. Next up, we have
It's listener feedback time.
listener feedback, and our number is 734-258-7009. You can also email us at show@smlr.us.
7009. You know, if you turn that upside down, it's bool, as in,
You know, if you type it out on a phone pad, it's an arrow. It's a down arrow.
turn it upside down. It's BOOL.
Yeah.
Bool,
But if you
as
just
in
on the
Boolean.
phone, you know, it's a down arrow.
As in a, character type bool.
Down arrow.
All right.
Pretty
All
amazing.
All right, go ahead, Tony. Matt and I have screwed up this for you.
right.
We make a mess of it and give it back to Tony
There you go.
to clean up.
All right.
Where's the dustpan? Could you,
Well,
could you clean it up?
I don't know if we want to. See if you want the number still in order if you're gonna. So you can't just turn it
I
upside
know.
down.
That's
No, but
why
if
I
you
was.
turn the letters upside down. You know what it spells?
No.
Bool.
Lube.
Lube it is.
I think bool sounds.
Lube it is.
It's bool sounds much
Lube
better.
it is.
All right. So continue, Tony.
Lube from now on.
I've never heard.
Thank you, Tony.
Matt, what is that condition you talked about? Uncontrollable laughter. Look at Tony over here. I've never heard him laugh so much. It's bool.
Yeah, lube from now on. Every episode.
No, when you rotate, when you take the 7009 and you turn it this
But
way.
that's the numbers are out of
But-
order now.
Yeah,
People are gonna be dialing the wrong number, Mary.
9007.
So do we have any listener feedback? I'm up for listener feedback. All right.
All right,
I-
so
I think we
we're
all
gonna
have some
start-
Super Bubble wrap thing going on.
we're gonna start off with the pronunciation Nazi.
Oh yes, thank you, pronunciation Nazi from Maryland.
Yes,
I
and
didn't get
There
this
was-
email. This was an
Yes.
email?
Yeah, it was
it
the
was
Euler, Leonard Euler.
yeah,
We called
I
it
did not
Euler.
get this email. I did not
I
get
don't
this email.
it was a contact form. It was
Mhm.
from our
From
contact
the-
form. It was actually this person was listening to or watching our YouTube video. And so it was out before I released the show.
Mhm.
Did we get an email?
Yeah.
Where did my email for this contact form go, Tony?
Should have gone to where all the show.smlr or show at SMLR
Oh,
goes
you know
to.
that DoD dummy had been responding to our licensing segment.
Oh no,
Yes.
we haven't been watching.
I couldn't watch, but anyway. So DoD dummy, we apologize that we kind of didn't share these comments in a timely
Oh,
fashion.
yes.
I think you're
I
missing the
have
reason.
read. I have read
Linux
just
made
for
it.
fun.
The reason is the GPLv2. I think the court cases help, but I think it's the license is what did it. People were more apt to donate when the sharing is enforced. I don't
Right.
dispute that. I
I'm not
think
saying
that's
that he chose the GPL license because of the court cases. I was saying that the court cases are what allowed the businesses and third parties and things like that to
Mhm.
choose Linux because BSD was tied up with this court case. And if it hadn't had that encumberment of those court cases on it, I think it would have been much more popular initially than Linux.
Yeah, you've been running BSD on that laptop, maybe,
No,
not maybe.
because
Anyway.
I live in a Linux world, so I've got
Mhm.
I've got to eat my own dog food at that point. I run what I use at work, and what it's just the way life is. I have to use Linux.
Okay. That's
Like,
all.
it's like some people say about Windows. I have to use Windows. Well,
I do.
I have to use Linux.
During the day, I
Right.
have to, my software. So we had the pronunciation Nazi indicate that we had mispronounced, and I certainly agree. And I regret the fact that I didn't think about this. We pronounced what is spelled to look like Euler is really pronounced Euler in German.
Yes.
It's like Munich and München.
Yes.
And I should have caught that, and I did not. So so pronunciation Nazi, we appreciate your insight.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are interested in learning how to pronounce different foreign words, you can go to forvo.com, forvo.com.
What's that in English?
All right.
fu.com. That's what it is, Matt.
Thank you, Mary.
EFF, EWE.com. All right. I just wanted to spell it out.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I always appreciate that, just because I think it's important for us to correctly pronunciate things.
Pronunciation.
All right.
So, oh, jeez. Stay away from the mic. Step away from the mic, Matt. Don't have a stroke. I need you to do that network drop for me before you drop dead.
Oh, pronunciate. That was
Okay.
that was the best ever.
All right. So on to our next
All right.
listener
The
feedback.
next listener feedback we have from John Montgomery.
Where did we
It
get
was
the? I got none of these.
It was a Google Plus post. He says, FYI, in the event Tony hasn't looked it up yet, Ubuntu Mate does become an official flavor as of 15.04.
Thanks, John.
And as far as who cares, actually, I do. That's what he says.
Good for
All
you.
right. Good for you.
I remember seeing that. I laughed.
He goes on this.
Yeah, I think he's
Say a
an
couple
ex-Air
more things,
Force
but-
person too. So
Yeah.
kudos on that front.
Yeah, cool. That's really all I saw. Did you guys have anything else?
No, I saw no listener feedback. So
All right.
All right. We
Saw no.
I did.
Yeah, there's some. Oh, I could have so much fun with that, but I'm not gonna. We're gonna move on.
the final
We've had enough
the
fun.
final version of the PenguinCon schedule is out, and we're still on it. That's good.
Woohoo!
I better get my presentation started.
Um, Yep, and then fellow podcaster 5150, he's going to be coming to PenguinCon.
Well, all right.
He's
Good.
yeah, and we've played him on the show and stuff. He's from Kansas. You know, he was promoting the Kansas Linux Fest.
Yes.
And-
Wasn't he one of the original organizers of that too? Or? This
No,
was his
he
first
was-
year.
Yeah, this was the first year. He said he wasn't really an organizer, but he was one pushing to get it going. So he was instrumental in giving the.
And just poking at people with a sharp stick to get it going.
That's right.
Mhm.
So he's going to be coming, and he's going to crash on my futon here on the nights. Whenever.
Is he going to be here?
Yeah.
Is he going to be here on Sunday?
Yeah, he's.
Does he want
flying
to
out.
sit? Is he going to sit on the show with us?
Oh, hey, 50. If you want to come on,
Yeah.
sit in the show with us.
Sure. We'll have
That'd be fun.
5150 guest of honor.
Yeah,
That would be fun.
he'll have to be there because I'm probably going to be giving him the ride to the show. Anyway, so yeah, so it's exciting. He's coming, and
Cool.
All right.
Oh, hey, one thing I just before we wrap things up, I wanted to mention. Have you heard of the app KDE Connect?
No.
KDE Connect is in the Google Play Store, and you install it on your phone, and then there's a corresponding app that you, or at least a configuration area that you set up on your laptop, and you basically then will get your phone notifications on your laptop, so you can mute a phone, you can do all sorts of
I
stuff.
get all that on my laptop
Ooh.
anyway because I use Google Voice.
Okay. But anyway, it's kind of nice to have that available.
Because since I use
But-
Sprint.
Hang on a minute, though.
Oh.
There's more.
Oh, well.
You can also, and I'll be sharing this during my presentation, but it'll also appear in Dolphin as a location, and you'll have access to all the files.
Ooh,
So you can, yeah, it's kind of cool.
that's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
now.
So I'm going to be talking about
now
that.
I'm interested.
Yeah. I figured you would be. The thing was just the hors d'oeuvres, but you weren't buying that. So anyway, yeah. So that I played around with that last week.
I'm
So
gonna
it's
have
kind
to
of
look
fun.
into that. The Google, what is it?
KDE Connect.
Connect.
KDE
Okay.
Connect.
It's in the Play Store.
Yeah, it is. Okay, Tony, back to you again.
All right, so we have a song that Mary actually one up before the show started,
And we lost it.
and then we lost it. Yeah, I can't found it.
Oh,
So
that's what you guys were looking for, was that
Yeah.
song?
Oh, it was something Annika or something. What was it?
Yeah, something, I forget.
Something. It was
Handicap, something. I don't know.
okay. Yeah,
Like
that.
handicap harmonica or something.
you're right.
No, remember it was we thought a band would be a good name for a band. Something harmonica.
Oh,
Harmonica,
the search terms
harmonica.
we used
Yeah, it was
was
something.
it was
Electronic harmonica.
electronic harmonica. That was the search term.
That's what I thought.
Electronic
But Tony,
harmonica.
Tony has found another song.
Yeah, I found another one.
Oh.
I don't think it has.
Is it a
harmonica in
toast? Is it a toe tapper, Tony?
It was
We'll have to
punk
see.
Was the
Oh,
was the
punkanica, harmonica.
no? It was something punk. Hand to punk or something like that.
It's actually playing. Jamando. Apparently, Jamando. When you select a song, it's on the music. So all of our YouTube listeners are listening to it. But this is Smoke Signals by the Figure.
Yeah, it probably is. Okay, well, I think Tony's got a really good one in our place.
So by the way, if you didn't hear it, Matt has another tip for today. If you have closed a tab and you want to get back to it, Control Shift T
In Firefox.
in Firefox will reopen closed tabs.
You didn't know that?
No,
I did not.
I did not know
Does
that
it do
either.
that for Chrome too?
Chrome's is different, I think. There is one for Chrome, but I don't know it off the top of my head.
Control Shift T does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, reopen,
Harmonica and theremin rendezvous.
and it reopens it in backwards order.
Right, from the most
So,
recent one you've
Most
closed
recently closed. Yeah.
on back.
Nice.
Because all the time I accidentally close.
Harmonica and theremin rendezvous was
Oh,
playing in the
very
background.
I accidentally close tabs all the time. That's why I know that.
I like this.
Play that for next week's show,
Okay,
the Penguicon show.
yeah. I can bring my theremin and play with it.
Yeah.
No.
Matt, are you against live music?
No, I'm not against live
He's
music.
against me trying to play live music because he knows I don't know how to play it. I know how to make noise.
She can make
on it.
noises on it. Sometimes they're melodic,
I
but
discovered
that's an accident.
I discovered that I was holding my hand on the wrong side of the vertical, the vertical
Yeah.
antenna on the theremin. I had my hand on the wrong side. So once I fixed that, I'm now a virtuoso.
Oh, right. Is that what they're calling it now?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh my God! Stop this.
We'll clear the hall right away. I stopped it. All right, I think we're ready to wrap, aren't we?
Yes, we are. So you've been listening to the Sunday Morning Linux Review. This was episode 149.
T-1 week.
Week.
That's right, 1 week.
The
This is-
Penguicon. Woo!
Yeah. This is Tony Bemis.
Matt Enders
And Mary Tomich.
saying, "See you next time," which will be in a week this time.
Yeah,
so
in a
see
week.
you next week.
Yeah.
Stay with us.
Same bad time, same bad channel.
All right.
All right.
Wow, there's a lot of laughing in that.
Yeah.
Man, Tony, when you got going, that was.
What was that? Punctuate? I can't even remember it. It was so
Oh, it was something.
No, it was punctuate.
Pronunciate.
That's it. Pronunciate.
Pronunciate.
That was nuts. Yeah.
Conversate.
All right, we're gonna do a quick intro.
Oh yeah.
I have no idea.
What the heck did we talk about? All right.
Licensing.
Yeah, we're gonna do. For those of you watching watching on YouTube, this is gonna get cut in the audio and put to the beginning. So.
That's right.
Don't we normally just say it's recorded on? Yep. This is the Sunday Morning Linux Review, episode 149, recorded on April 19th, 2015. On this week's episode, we're gonna
Don't we
have.
save the date on the other thing? No, we don't.
We don't.
All right. So Mary, would you like to start over again?
Yeah. On this episode of Sunday Morning Linux Review, recorded April 19th, 2015, we're going to have a discussion about
That's not when it's going to be broadcast, though. Shouldn't you say
Really?
Sunday's date?
Recorded on.
Mr. Troll. Mr. Troll.
Let's see. I think of another reason to interrupt it. Go ahead.
All right. On this episode, I can't, Tony, I'm looking at you, Tony.
Sorry.
I'm not even going to look to my left. On this episode of Sunday Morning Linux Review, recorded on April 19, 2015, we're going to have a discussion of the BSD license versus the GPL.
BSD.
Which is
BSD.
which is better, or are they both equally good,
Stay
depending
tuned
on
to
what
find
your
out
need
my
is?
opinion.
Yeah. As if you don't already know it. We're also going to have a KDE Corner and Mary's Cool Tool. Tony, Tony's got a security.
Tony's going to run the podcast?
Yeah, Tony's going to run the podcast. And of course, Matt, well, what
I'll
else
be
can I
Matt.
say? He'll be mad. So stay tuned.
All right. All right.
Have we ever done one of these
Bye.
right?
Say goodbye,
Don't
YouTubers.
bye.
All right, bye.
Bye, YouTubers.